I'm Eli.
And I'm Corey.
You gotta say it.
And we're friends.
Hi, my name is Doug,
And I'm Stacy
and we're married.
for 43 years.
Hi, I'm Yai.
Hi, I'm Gladys, and I'm Yais' mom.
I'm Claude, and I'm going to talk today about my relationship with my dad.
I think the hardest thing is like we're just around each other all the time.
We've been around each other. We've been living together with each other for
Too
what?
long.
So that can definitely get challenging.
For me, it's been to trust, take my hands off, and surrender what Doug is doing, what God's doing with Doug. Ultimately, not trusting him is not trusting God.
And I would say the biggest risk for me was growing up in a family that really was about performance, how we looked as Christians more than hard issues. It was how we kind of looked on the outside. So I learned to carry a mask and a false self. I think a big risk for me was removing that mask, just being who I was, and to still be accepted by my wife, that I didn't have to be somebody that I was not.
My dad was married 5 times, and the biggest risk is that it makes me nomadic a bit. It makes me kind of like never having anchors, etc. You know, we moved around a lot as a kid and kind of had different relationships and families to get into, so I think that's probably the biggest risk.
Finding that balance between like presence and survival mode. I think being a mother, you're constantly responsible for someone, whether you're in proximity to them or not. You know, I could be in a whole different state, a whole different country, and I'm constantly thinking about my daughter. It's always this balance of, am I being present enough, and am I on survival mode? No job will be worth sacrificing time or sacrificing anything for my daughter.
Reward is we can finish each other's sentences. Sorry, we can finish each other's.
Sandwiches.
See?
So close. I think like being around each other. Thank you. Being around each other so much, and coming from similar families too. I think we have an understanding of like dynamics that we haven't found with a lot of other people, which has been really valuable.
The biggest reward is having a partner who has helped me grow. I think that's the greatest reward.
For me, the biggest reward is we really grew up together. People are getting married later in life, and we were pretty young, and it's been fun. I mean, we were kids, we didn't know anything, and we're still learning every day.
One thing I like being my daughter is I get to go to a lot of places that are new, and they're so cool, and yeah.
She's well traveled.
And I think a lot of people look at his relationships, he's a super godly man, but I think a lot of people look at that divorce and would say like, wow, this is a totally broken way of having relationships, etc. But it's just a really good picture of how God can take you know, a mess and make beautiful out of it. In my opinion, like what we're called to do as Christians, like what God calls us into is, you know, the ability to love others in both their great spots and the down times.